Okie dokie, introducing next on my show. It's a pleasure to welcome back. You may remember them from last time. It's been a little bit of a while, but we've got Peter and Al. Um, I'm in good company from REAM on my show because they're going to talk about a brand new single and album. But before we go into that, I just wanted to ask how's life treating you today and where are you situated right now in the world?
Oh, well, I'm in London. I'm in East London at the moment. And life has treated me rather well, actually. It's been a busy few days talking to people. My jaws are starting to hurt a little bit.
I'm in Donegal in Northwest Ireland. Technically the Republic of Ireland, but actually physically in the Northwest.
Glad
And life is
everything's
good.
glad everything's fine for you. And would you just like to tell my listeners, a little bit about yourselves? You know how you kind of,
Yeah,
formed and got together, especially for like the younger generation who just
sure,
discovering
sure.
you.
Well, I'm Peter. I'm the lead singer. Alan is the DJ, but we kind of write the songs together now. But initially, we met at a place called a nightclub called the Brain Club in Wardour Street in London in 1990, I think. That's going back some time. And I was asking Alan if he could help me work on some music that I had at the time, which wasn't quite sounding as well as good as the records he was playing. And he decided he'd come and help me. And when he turned up, he did. He transformed what I was working on. It just happened to be a record called "You're the Best Thing," which went on to be one of uh, our best records and our biggest hits. And yeah, we've been working on and off together now for what 35 years. We just completed recently our fifth studio album, which is called Do It Anyway, after the title track of the same name.
Great. And I wanted
That,
to ask onto today, after all these years, it's got you to where you are now, which is a good thing. And your new singles could do it anyway, as you say, taken from the album of the same name.
Hmm.
And is that the bonus track as well? So with the bonus track, did the listener get like a little bit of like an extra treat?
it's the bonus track. When we did the album version, it was a bit long. Like, well, for the people people have got a short attention span now when it comes to singles, especially in the radio, and they like it short. So they wanted a shortened version, and I was in the mastering studio, and we rushed like a sort of shortened version, but the sound wasn't quite what the radio people wanted. So they got this guy called Soren, I think his name is in
Soren,
Sweden, and
yes.
he basically took that arrangement and did his thing with it and gave it a little bit of a kick up the bottom. And I think he's done a damn fine job. It's very radio friendly, this bonus version. So it's just a different version of our album version, shortened and injected with steroids.
That's perfect. And what's the feeling like when you hear your song being played back on the radio or when someone tells you you've been featured on like a playlist?
Oh, it's very exciting. I have to remind the audiences when we perform live that both You're the Best Thing, Things Gonna Be Better, and some of the other songs that we perform were all at one point being heard for the first time. And we're still going to do that. And while we've got their attention and they're waiting to jump up and down on the spot for the big records, we're going to hit them with some of the newer stuff we got, which we hope will one day have occupy the same uh, place in people's hearts.
That's great. And would you say this new single and album, it kind of takes you like in a new musical direction? Because I know you take a little bit of ingredients from sounds from the 80s, 90s, and noughties.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. I don't think it's a new direction. I think what we've always done. The thing about Dream is, as Alan said earlier when we were talking to others, you can't really pigeonhole this. It's got like we write these songs and then the sort of songs dictate where it should be. So we'd never sit down and by design say, oh, we're going to do a Portishead record or we're going to do an Al Johnson or something. It's like it just sort of leads itself really. And there's a sort of George Michael one on there. It's not by design. It's just the song seems to suit that treatment, and that's why we end up finishing the record the way the song leads us. So. Dream Sound is, yeah, it's got things like, lovely lush vocals and back and chorus harmonies, what you call gospely sounding things, strings and pianos. But in and around that, we always used a lot of live elements as well. There's much more live guitar in it than there ever was before. And yeah, we've gone into Blueprint, the place that it's Elbow Studio up in Manchester, and in there we put down some live piano with Mark Bowden and TJ, our singer, and we've gone in there and sort of augmented it, as it were. We've even had, is it Gemma, Alan, that played harp for
Oh,
you too? Bono did a solo, a one-man band tour around Ireland and America, and we found this girl, Gemma. I actually met her in a pub in Donegal, and she was telling me that she did this, and I said, "Crikey, we use a lot of harps. Would you come down?" And she did, and she brought an Irish harp. It's much smaller than a concert harp, and she was able to play in all the different keys, and it was just wonderful to hear. We like real instruments. I mean, I love sampling, using a sampler to recreate instruments, but it's nice to have the real deal as well. It makes the sound much richer.
Beautiful. The harp's a lovely instrument, and especially like on the pint of Guinness as well. You see the harp.
Yeah, it's
oh,
become the. I understand it's not actually Irish to start with. I think it's a Middle Eastern instrument,
really?
but the Irish, like what we all do, we adopt various parts of other cultures. So it's become a symbol along with the shamrock of the Irish. Yes, very much so.
And I do it anyway. Am I right that this song has been, laying in the archives for a while?
It has, yeah. And in fact, quite some time ago, I'd made a pitch to Kylie Minogue via her A&R man around the time she was doing Spinning Around and Can't Get You Out of My Head, Kathy Dennis on writing duties there. And I was sort of in that world, pitching and writing and recording, and I came up with that song, but its original incarnation was called Night Vision. And when I played it to Alan, I didn't play him the whole song. I just played him the intro, thinking you should check this out. And he loved it. And he came up with the idea of it being smoke-filled rooms and warehouse parties and laser lights. And he kind of, I think he had that lyric from somewhere else. And but he pinned it. He sort of sent it a completely new direction. And we got as far as the chorus, and that just came out. It was like I was being sort of a little bit looking back, but definitely looking forward, because it says, if we had a chance to do it all again, we'd probably do it anyway, and that's the thing, isn't it? We don't regret the past. We don't want to shut the door on it. We just want to enjoy what it is we've got. And back then it was laissez-faire. We just took our chances, and that's what the album's about as well, in a lot of ways.
Nice. It's nice to be nostalgic sometimes, but still present at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You can look back, you can be in the present, but also look to the future. And that's what we're doing. We're not, we haven't rested on our laurels, and we're not just knocking albums out for the sake of it. We're not exactly prolific. 5 albums in 35 years is not, um, it's hardly anything to write home about. But we have the albums we have done. We've concentrated on making them as good as we can, and so it's not by the numbers, if you know what I mean. We're not being
Mm.
forced, but they definitely got quicker at doing all of this stuff as we've got older and later on. And I think we've got more comfortable working together. We're a bit more able to sort of take the rough with the smooth and just get on with the process of writing. And it has increased our output. And this is the result of one of our last sessions. Which Al, what was the distance between Open Hearts, Open Minds and this? Was it 4 years, 3 years?
Three
I
years,
can't
maybe.
remember.
I mean, I suppose you had 3 years from completion in Open Hearts, yeah. So
Brilliant. I
that's
mean, so we're talking 2028, are we, on the next one?
next year.
Next year, listen, I'm good because we did do over 40 um songs and tracks, if you like, 40. I love the way the Beatles call them the 40 numbers. We did 40 numbers. And we've got quite a few there in the vault that we could use to make another album possibly if the demand was there. But we really want to get this album across because I think the thing is you have to just draw a line in the sand, and there was tracks that, as Al said, we did which didn't make the cut because they just didn't seem to fit with the vibe of this particular record. So you have to draw a line in the sand and make that the album.
And one of the things, like back in the day when buying records, in Woolworths, was like, when you go into a shop, you see the cover art and it sometimes catches your eye to entice you to buy the record. On the cover art to your new single, where did the inspiration come about where you feature in front of a roulette wheel? It's about life taking a chance, maybe?
Oh, it's very, very good. Yeah, it's from the lyric. I mean, the lyric can do it anyway. It's pretty much dictates that cover. It is about taking a chance. What we did, as Pete explained earlier on, but back in that day in the 90s, we were living for the moment. We were partying quite hard. Well, I certainly was anyway. And and we didn't really think about it. You just, obviously now we're still here, thankfully, which is quite good. And that's essentially what it is, Russian roulette or rushing roulette, as we call it in the song. And it's taking that chance. So that's exactly what it is. It worked. I was at first I was quite reticent about it. I must admit with the cover, just think, oh really? But it's worked out quite well. It looks good. They've made us look fairly gorgeous, so we're all right.
And if you're happy, I wanted to talk about some of the new tracks on your album.
Sure.
So one of the tracks on the album was "Let Our Love Shine." It's a beautiful ballad. Is that the one to open up the album?
Is
Let
it?
our love shine on. It was tempting, like it is with everything we've done, to what I call housify it, as in, put the backbeat in the four to the floor. But I can't remember where we got to in that because we were looking at keeping it, I don't know, kind of
Beatless.
like a tease, I suppose. If you listen to Massive Attack's piece that they did with Tracy Thorn, it just felt better sitting there on guitar and with just the vocals. And I sang it completely different to how I've ever sung before. I sang it really gently and really close mic'd and really intimate, and it just didn't seem that it was suitable to turn it into a big record. So it's become the sort of the intro for the album, the tease for the album, if you like. And when it gets to the end, it picks up a little bit of percussion, but it's all about the harmonies. And the concept is quite interesting because it's got that letter. What are they called, Alan? The Bobby Gillespie's band. It's got that kind of, yeah, yeah, exactly, Primal Scream vibe about it. So it just, again, the song dictated that, and then we decided not to put the beats in. I think it works really, really well. It was Alan's choice. Alan's always done the running order because he DJs. He's got an instinct for playlists, and so I'm quite happy to let him dictate the running order, and he that was his call on that, and I think it works really well.
I think it sets with that sort of drone at the beginning, it just sets the whole album up. It just sort of like you think,
Yeah.
well, what's going on here? You don't know what to expect. I think it's a good thing, and it's just a lovely, sweet ballad, and it's nice. We don't do many of them, so it's nice to get one out there.
Yeah,
Is that when you're reading a book, you got a prologue? Could it be along them lines where it kind of is the
that's
introductory number?
that's a good way
That's
of
what it
putting
feels
it.
like.
That's a good way of putting it. Also, most of our albums have always had something that looks towards the stars, isn't there, Al?
Yeah, there's a lot of
And so
mention of
that
stars.
instead of being at the end, it's at the beginning.
And on to another track. You mentioned George Michael. He was quite funky in his time. Funk You Up, which is a groovy anthem. Did you like experimenting? Well, sorry, did you have fun experimenting with the different sounds on this one?
That was an almost end of album sort of not last minute thing, but we'd done so many songs as we said earlier on, and I really wanted to do something fun and just and to be fair, it wasn't even initially. I don't think it was meant for the album per se. It was just done as a live track, and Pete had started something which I can't remember what it's called, but it just wasn't quite right, disco sort of thing. And I
Yeah.
one night I listened to it and did a did a little falsetto vocal into for him to listen to the next day. So you sing it like this. It's quite George Michael, and Pete has got a bit of a George Michael's about his voice when he well tries to sing like George Michael.
When I try too hard.
and and Pete's like, oh yeah, like this, and then we just changed the song around, and then brought in some elements of old like sort of Prince records that we're big Prince fans, early Prince, funky Prince, and we just sort of brought it together, and then we thought, let's not be too serious with the lyrics on this because it was an end of session thing. We thought we'd just do something for live, and it's worked out really well live. And I think it got so everyone was loved. We were playing it live before we'd finished the album, and I think we just thought, we've got to put this on the album because
Yeah.
everyone's loving it.
We
So
played it at Glastonbury between the best thing and things going to be better, and it went down so well. It had to go in the album.
yeah,
Because
mad
I
about
listened to it and it just had just a tiny bit of ingredients of like saying everyone bites the dust along them lines.
Yeah,
that's
the
what
bass line definitely does. I mean, there's only so many bass lines you can come up with if
yeah.
you think about it. And if you kind of go away from that kind of vibe, it sort of slows it down. It just really seemed to work.
Cool. And another track I wanted to ask you about was Famous for Nothing. We do seem to live in a day and age where so many people want to be recognized for something.
Yeah, or just want to be recognized. They don't actually even need to have a talent. other
That's
than
it.
the wish to be famous. Yes, I'm really conscious of that. And I think I read it somewhere, and that made me think about. I'm not going to say who, but there's a lot of people I think don't deserve it, but they're up there, and I think that that was the kind of the guts of
I
it.
think
But it's become a little bit, if you listen to it, if you read the lyrics well enough, it's become more like every breath you take, in insofar as um, someone who was famous is stalking someone who is famous, waiting for them to become unfamous and catch them when they fall.
I think there's a there's a level of taking it away from just being really sort of awful about people because we're not that type of band. So
No.
I think we moved initially when it first was the concept first, as people were saying, and maybe it was talk about some people in mind, and I was very much like, we can't do that. We need to just pull this back a bit. We don't really see this really nasty people. So but it does address that situation, as you say, about people wanting just to be famous. However, I think we've put it to a narrative whereby there's the person who's telling the story, as it were, is basically saying, "Well, I know you. You know, you're not as bad as we make out." So we're just trying to sugarcoat it a little bit because we're nice.
That's
Honestly,
great. And one more we'll touch on the geek who rules the world. Is this for the geeks, kind of give them because geeks have always been underdogs, haven't they, in
They
some
have,
parts?
but in Catholicism they say, or Christianity they say, the meek shall inherit the earth, and then I was thinking, well, actually, the way it's looking, it's the geeks that are going to inherit the earth. And then we were thinking about all the kind of the geeks that are, very, very powerful, and they've got such gargantuan amounts of money that they're affecting the outcomes of democracies. That's another thing. But we were just playing around with the idea. It's got a colorfulness to it that belies the lyric that's there. But it really it's saying in order to rule the world, you've got to fool the world, and that's poking fun at everyone from Bill Gates, Zuckerberg to Elon. It's just, you know, it's having a little poke at them.
And do you have any shows coming up? Like are you on hitting the roads anytime soon?
we are
Yeah.
doing a lot of festivals. We've been doing some recently. We're up in Hardwick Festival, the Pet Shop Boys and Scissor Sisters this weekend, which will be interesting. And we've got gigs. I play a gig in Framlingham. We've got a few gigs that are just ourselves. Bradford, one in Glasgow, here, there, and everywhere. We're just taking the gigs as they come, basically. So if people want us, book us. We'll turn up with Peter's guitar and a band of merry men and women.
And where's best for people to follow you or get in touch um,
Yeah,
with
social
you?
media. I think Facebook and I mean we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, which I don't understand, but we're on it. But Facebook, I think, is probably the most coherent one, which I understand most. But Instagram, we're there. You put Dream in, we come up because we've been forced into posting things all the time. So we are with the TikTok thing's just funny because it's two grown men. It seems very strange, but I've got a 13-year-old boy and he uses it all the time. It just seems very strange that I'm using the same sort of social platform
Yeah.
as he is, or social media
Yeah.
platform as he is, 30-year-old. But that's the way of the world, and our label tells us we've got to do it.
And all your tour dates are on your official website as well.
That's right.
Hmm. I wanted to ask as well, bit of a random question, but Dream, you got the colon in Dream, D-Ream, obviously.
Yes.
Have when people search for you, has that been a kind of
It's
barrier?
it's been a barrier. If you look at all our contemporaries, they're in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds, and we're languishing. And if you put it in, it just it rejects it. So
We get the
we,
smiley.
well, we, you know, it was thought of in a time before the internet. So it was 1990. We didn't have broadband till 96.
Yeah, the bizarre thing is, I used to have a magazine back then called G Spot, which we did one of our first interviews in, and my partner in that was way up on the internet way before. And had I actually listened to him, I would have realised that we shouldn't be doing the call on. But I didn't listen to a word he said. Just said, "You have the magazine. I'm off to do this band with a
Yeah.
call." He could have told me. He could have said, "On the way out, let's not put that call on in." But he didn't,
And
and
but you did it anyway, right?
we did it anyway. Exactly.
Well, wonderful talking to you both, and your new album and new single is out now on all good outlets.
Yes, it's
Vinyl
on.
and
It's
CD,
Yep.
coloured vinyl, no less.
Oh, lovely. How was that process as well? And how's that been received?
So far, it's good. I mean, it's weird we're on a label now, which is very strange because we've done the last couple of sales, and being on a label at our age is a it's great. It's great to have someone else do it for you, which is saves a lot of hassle. But yeah, but it's hard also not having that sort of contact we had with the fans previously because I was sending them all out, so you knew exactly what's going on. It's You're sort of away from it a little bit, so we've got a level off it, but it's great having them do it, and especially getting like coloured vinyl. We wouldn't have been able to really. Well, we would have thought of doing something like that. It would be very expensive for us to do it. Had we done it, we would have done even more things to it. It would cost even more, like having lyrics on the inside and photographs and everything. We can't help ourselves. So, but yeah, it's great. It looks good.
Well, it's always a pleasure chatting to you both. We got Peter
Thanks.
and Alan from the REAM on my radio show chatting about their new single and their new album, and wish you all the best with everything.
Thank you, Danny. All the best,
Thanks,
my
Danny.
man. Take
Have,
care.
have a wonderful day.
Will
You
do.
too.
You too.
Take care.